All right, it's 7 o'clock. Council, we need to nominate a mayor pro tem for tonight's meeting.
I'll make a motion that we elect Bill for this evening, pro temp mayor, please.
Presiding.
I'll second.
Yes, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you guys for this, get this meeting of July 25th, 2017 on board. If anybody in the audience needs to be recognized, or any individuals need to speak about anything, we just got our normal cast of characters up there. Okay, first order of business on the HRB, DRB, planning and zoning recommendations. I know on the recommendation list, they're kind of hard to pull up, so Mary's been kind enough to pass out those HRB recommendations. I mean, everybody got a chance to look over those, I guess, didn't they?
Yes.
I don't think there was anything that was out of the ordinary.
I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendations and approve the recommendations subject to the conditions provided in each of the recommendations on COA 17-55, COA 17-57, COA 17-56, COA 17-53, COA 17-58, and COA 17-59.
Both been made by Councilman Kelly to approve the recommendation of the HRB for COA 1755 through 1759. Can I get a second?
I'd like to second.
Second by Councilman Jones. Any questions about any of those?
Just like to make a comment.
Go ahead, Councilman.
On the 1755, that does fit our new short-term rental ordinance that we passed. So that does fall within the parameters of that new one we passed. I talked to.
Where you have an owner occupant in the main portion
Right.
of the building and the side house, I guess.
Was not attached to, as part of it.
Yeah.
It's not attached to, they live on the premise. So that does fall within the guidelines. What we passed earlier.
So, the ordinance is working. Is that what you're saying, Councilman?
It did here.
Okay, it's been properly motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Like sign. Under correspondence, you saw in the in your tablets that there was just Barton Distillery wanted to kind of give us a notice what they're trying to promote with their I guess you might music and food truck series, the Sundown series is what they call it. This doesn't need to take any motion or anything. They were just trying to make a shout out to let us know what's going on, and hopefully we could help promote it and go along with what they're trying to do down at the 1792 Visitor Center. So, a little FYI information. Also under correspondence, we have a donation request from the Buttermilk Days Foundation, which is sponsored by Councilwoman Copeland. Would you like to address that, Councilman Copeland?
I would like to present the request for the donation of the Buttermilk Days Foundation for the request of funds to support the 23rd annual Buttermilk, August 24th through the 26th. Similar to the donations of last year, let's see. They're stating how the funds will be spent. The majority of funds will be used for security and parking attendants to ensure the smooth flow of traffic in the 3rd Street area. So in that request, I would like to state if the council would approve $1,000 from our funds and $1,000 from the mayor's fund.
The request for $2,000.
Yes, the request is for $2,000.
Question, discussion?
Can we spend the mayor's fund?
Well,
I think it's his discretionary fund
it's
without he
the
can do it.
mayor's, it's the mayor's contingency fund. I talked to Dick before he left. He said if the council saw this was okay to do it, you can do it. If they want to approve it, approve $2,000 from the council's contingency fund, or if they chose, he had no problem with spending $1,000 out of his fund either. So.
Okay, as long as he's, well, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't spend nobody else's
I think for his, it'd have to be subject to his approval on his,
But yeah,
and then ours, or is ours.
he didn't have a problem with it. So, but you still you want to get his opinion.
I guess I'm just doing for future precedent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
In case somebody else comes up, he doesn't want to put out his, we do, I don't think we can.
I agree. I think we should just discuss it as the council, as possibly taking that whole $2,000 out of the council's contingency fund, and then we could let it shake out as it may if Dick wanted to, or the mayor wanted to contribute his at a later date.
Yeah, that would probably be the cleanest way to do it. If the council so chose to do that, that would probably be the cleanest way. He just didn't have a problem with it. But yeah, you don't want to spend his money unless he says spend his money.
How much money did it, was the city council or the mayor?
Last year, 2,000.
2,000?
And it came out of the council.
Any other discussion, motion, or anything that needs to be done?
Well, then I guess I'll make the motion, we approve the $2,000 request, because I think there is a government purpose in here, and so I think it's okay with public safety. And that the $2,000 come out of the council portion contingency fund, unless the mayor chooses to kick in $1,000, then it would be $1,000 each. And I'll just make it contingent on the mayor agreeing to it or not. And if he doesn't, then we'll just assume the whole $2,000.
That's the logical.
Since he's not here to
Yeah.
do it on record,
That's the logical motion.
I'd like to second that, Mayor.
The motion and the motion by Councilman Kelly, second by Councilman Jones, that we approve the $2,000 request for the Buttermilk Days Foundation. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I'll like to abstain from that.
you didn't even make one, you got to talk and speak.
Yeah, but y'all guys are welcome down.
It's just all right.
Yeah, y'all guys are welcome down this Saturday. We have a cook-off. So y'all can come down and enjoy some of the wares there. Trying to find out who's the best backyard barbecuer is in town. Wayne's on my team, so.
So it's automatic win, right? Well, we want to thank you guys for approving that. Would you understand that Buttermilk is a big family-oriented Bardstown get-together, and unfortunately, we do bring a lot of business into town for the, people going to buy motel rooms, of course, liquor stores. But yeah, we do get, look about 2,000 or 3,000 people every year that comes out and patronizes our festival, so appreciate it.
Okay, next order of business, a special council meeting of 7 to 11 at 6 p.m. in the second council meeting. Any corrections, additions to the meeting? Being done, I'll entertain a motion to approve the special council meeting on 7/11/2017 and the regular council meeting on 2017. 7/11/2017. So moved by Councilman Buckman.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Cope. further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. No financial report. Under ordinances, we have some modification in the compensation classification plan. I'd like to read this, or have our acting city clerk, Miss Marion Riley, to read this ordinance number B 2017 classification compensation plan, and then if there's any questions about it, we can discuss it with, I've got some notes here, but new risk manager, Mr. Ashworth's here also. We can key in on it too.
All right, bear with me. Ordinance number B 2017, classification and compensation plan. An ordinance amending and adopting as amended, an ordinance styled, an ordinance creating classification plan and compensation plan. Summary of ordinance B 2017-11. This ordinance amends ordinance B 2016-10, B 2016-15, and chapter 35 entitled Employment Policies, the classification plan and compensation plan of the municipal code by amending the number of authorized positions, their title and pay grade, and setting the ranges for pay grades for city employees for fiscal year 2017 to 2018 and subsequent years. The amendments and additions reflecting number of positions, title, and pay grade respectively are: 1, exempt human resource director / add to that risk manager, compensation level 122. 1, strike executive assistant to the mayor and add assistant city clerk, pay grade 108. Strike 1, risk and facilities manager of pay grade 111. Continue with 1, adding exempt to preservation coordinator, level 114. Add 1, groundskeeper / facilities manager, level 109. Continuing with 1, striking groundskeeper and adding maintenance worker 1 admin, striking pay grade 108 and adding 101. Strike 1, janitor part-time, grade 101. Strike 5 and add the number 6, customer service representative, level 1, 2, or 3 at pay grade 103 to 105. 1, add administrative assistant / property room technician part-time / the 104, remove the 104 and add 106 pay range. Add 1 administrative assistant, range 104. Subtract 1 and add 2 recreation assistants part-time at a pay range of 102. Add 1 staff engineer at pay grade 115. /1 and replace with 2 IT support specialist 1 at grade 104 or an IT support specialist 2, grade 108. Change the grade scale as follows. All minimum wages are raised by 3% and all maximums shall be 1.5 times the minimum. This ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of such conflict. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect following publication and summary as required by law.
This is the first reading of this ordinance, so it doesn't require a vote. But there have been some changes in City Hall. Some of the positions have been combined. They've taken like maybe 5 positions and narrowed them down to 3. Greg, would you like to add in a little bit on that?
Yes, sir. They've combined the HR director and the risk management positions into one, and they've also combined groundskeeper, facilities manager into one, and they've combined the administrative assistant or the assistant city clerk into one. They took away the executive assistant to the mayor and that person is gonna have, you know, multiple responsibilities as well. So, like Mayor Shuffle said, they were going to, they've taken 3 or 4 or 5 jobs and combined them down to about 3.
I think in the big picture of the thing, they'll probably end up saving the city about $100,000 in wages and benefits.
So the assistant city clerk is the administrative assistant as well?
Would be, right, so she would be responsible for the mayor's, whatever the mayor needs that person to do. I shouldn't say she, that person would be responsible for whatever the mayor needs to do. She will be the acting city clerk in the absence of the city clerk. And she will also, that person will also be working with code enforcement. You know, the code enforcement officer and the assistant city clerk work together to do whatever administrative stuff needs to be done.
Okay. And have we put in the newspaper about this position, or?
Which one, the assistant
Assistant city clerk?
Yes, ma'am, it's been in there. The last day was Friday. It's been in there for several weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, the administrative assistant will kind of be assisting everybody, basically the city clerk, the code enforcement people, the
Mayor.
mayor, HR, and probably assist you some too, I'm sure.
I try not to. I try to do my own stuff if I can.
Okay, she'll be glad to hear that. He or she may.
He or she, I shouldn't say she.
You sure?
So where does the cemetery section fall here?
That will be the,
The city.
still with the city
Still
clerk.
the city clerk is on there.
City clerk and cemetery sexton is the same.
All right, and one more question. It says next to preservation coordinator, you added exempt. What does that mean?
She became exempt, Rashay became exempt. Last year, they made that position exempt, and we're just going to show that in her job description. It got failed to be put in her job description. They voted last year to make it exempt, and they failed to change the job description, so that's.
I think that means she's salary and it's not, in other words.
She's not, right, she's salary, she's exempt from overtime.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry if that's what you meant, she's exempt from overtime.
Any other questions on those positions? Some of the pay grade levels have changed, some of those also. But if you see in your compensation plan there, you'll see some of those grades have been changed to, as well as some of the minimum salaries too. In each part of the grade has changed some. Also in the ordinance, we have the second reading of the mobile food vendors ordinance.
Thank you, guys.
Mary, would you like to continue with that? B 2017-10?
Sure. And that's all the way through to the penalty, right? The
Yes.
in its
Yes.
entirety?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance B 2017-10. An ordinance amending and adopting as amended, an ordinance regulating the operations of mobile food vendors in the city of Bardstown, requiring a permit and for other purposes. Whereas the city of Bardstown recognizes the need to expand the type of zoning districts which allow use by a mobile food vendor to include industrial. And whereas the need to assess a penalty for the violation of any chapter of the mobile food vendor ordinance should be defined. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Bardstown, Kentucky, that chapter 112.31, private property mobile food vending, be amended and to add a chapter to create a penalty. Section 112.31, private property mobile food vending. Except as provided in section 112.30, mobile food vendors with a valid statewide mobile food unit permit or statewide retail mobile food unit permit shall only be permitted on private property. Strike zoned B-1 through B-5 and LIP and add, when allowed as an approved, permitted, accessory, or conditional use in B-1, B-2, B-3, B-4, B-5, or LIP zoning districts, or as an approved conditional use for temporary/transitional use in I-1, I-1M, or I-2 zoning districts. Subsection 112.99, penalty to be added. Violation of the provisions of this chapter or failure to comply with any of its requirements shall constitute a misdemeanor. Any person who violates this chapter or fails to comply with any of its requirements shall, on conviction thereof, be fined not less than $10 nor more than $500, or imprisoned for not more than 30 days or both, and in addition shall pay all costs and expenses involved in the case. Each day a violation continues shall be considered a separate offense. Violators of this chapter may be issued a citation by the officer in charge of enforcement. In addition, or in the alternative, any person determined to be in violation of this chapter may be assessed civil penalties or fines, those fines which may be assessed through the Code Enforcement Board process. Nothing therein contained shall prevent the city from taking any other lawful action as is necessary to prevent or remedy any violation. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of such conflict. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect following publication as required by law.
Anyone have any other questions about that? That's the mobile food vendor permit that we talked about last meeting.
I wasn't here last meeting, but it looks like it allows them to be on public property and like the distillery thing in Barton. That's basically what.
Right, and they, the mobile food vendor, in certain areas, they can move it, have it there for like 14 days, and maybe move it somewhere else, another 14 days. So it's able to move around town. It's the mobile vendor. Let's put some rules and regulations more firm and put a penalty phase in there if people don't comply. So that's it. So if no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number B 2017-10 on second reading.
So moved, Mayor.
So moved by Councilman Buckman. Second by Councilman Copeland. No further questions. I'll entertain a motion, individual vote, starting with Councilman Kelly.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0. Okay, in your tablets, you also have the minutes from the Electric Cable Committee meeting. Councilman Dolan, I think it was your first committee meeting.
It was, and
Talk to me.
it was very long. We had a lot of issues to cover, and I was really hoping that Jeff Mills is going to be here to back me up if I need any type of report. But I'll have to ask his forgiveness if I make any mistakes. So, first of all, I'd like to offer thanks to a very professional committee and staff for the continued diligence and hard work in that department. It's really not until you get to work behind the scenes in city government that allows you to see, that dedication and professionalism that they show, and I just would like to thank them for that. We began kind of talking or hearing from Jeff Mills, engineer Jeff Mills, on the current year electric budget and items, especially the addition of a cold storage space for the sensitive materials stored on site at the city shop. That involves those sensitive materials that can deteriorate over time and sunlight damage and things like that. So that additional cold storage is going to be a welcome item. We discussed at some length the digger truck that was budgeted in previous fiscal year, but since it took so long to get the truck, it got pushed into this year. The mayor's budget, we took the remote capability away from the truck. It was a significant expense. I made and I'm sure you all have read the minutes, but I made a suggestion that we try to get that remote added back in on a future budget, just simply because it's a much safer operation with that remote capability on that truck. We discussed enhancement of the SCADA system, which is the supervisory control and data acquisition system for the electric system. The system monitors the electrical system, monitors the switches and their status, the breakers and their statuses. We also discussed a new software being purchased by the department, the OMS, or the Outage Management System. This will directly interface with the AMI, which is the Advanced Metering Infrastructure software. Those, in conjunction with one another, will be able to monitor outages and high usage events by the city and allow the personnel to more quickly react to issues in the electrical grid, rather than the alternative was to wait for residents to call about an outage. So this will enable them to predict and hopefully be proactive in some of the electrical grid issues, and allowed to get technicians direct feedback from the metering systems and such. The biggest item on the budget, and you all are most aware of, was the Bardstown substation upgrade. We discussed that and the progress that was involved there, what KU was responsible for, what the city was responsible for. We spoke about backup transformers. Since that transformer system is going to be changed out, one of my questions was whether or not we were going to have, that KU would have available that transformer in case it blew, in case that new transformer went out. Would they have a replacement on hand? And Jeff Mills assured us that KU would have that on hand. The department had asked for an additional lineman, but in the interest of keeping within the budget restraints, we'll try to hold that off till next fiscal year. High marks were given to Jason Tingle, an inventory control clerk with the city that has apparently made great strides in inventory control that saved the city a lot of money, and that was noted by both Jeff Mills and Jeff Miller. We discussed an accelerated LED changeout program, which involves street lighting. We're looking to accelerate that program instead of just going in and changing an LED street light out when one gets bad. We're discussing doing a whole street. So with the advancements in that technology and the money that can be saved in maintenance and also in utility cost, we feel like an accelerated program would be beneficial to the city. So that's something that we'll be discussing in the near future. I'm trying to keep this shorter than our original meeting. I only have a couple of other things here. So, cable notes, and this is where I really needed Engineer Mills' help, and maybe Councilwoman Copeland can help me out if I stumble here. But a couple of notes from cable TV. Cable sweeps are now being done in-house by full-time tech Jeff Bariza, which is saving the department in contract services. This is the first year for the combined internet cable departments, and Jeff Mills feels that this has greatly improved the efficiency of overall operations. Cable internet rate changes. We had talked about introducing an ordinance for cable rate changes, and this is all coming, and this is what I needed some help on. So this is all coming due to the fact that the fixed asset costs haven't really been adjusted in the last few years. So Jeff has an idea that we should address that fixed cost differential and try to balance out. It's more or less taking some away from cable costs and adding it to internet rate costs. And that encourages customers with both our cable and our internet to stay that way, because it wouldn't affect them. The changes would offset for them, but it would increase for an internet customer. So That's to try to offset some of the losses that we're having, what I understand, due to video streaming over the internet that's causing us some of our cable TV losses. So that's something that we're going to continue to talk about. We had discussed them drafting an ordinance for these rate changes to have it at this meeting, but obviously, we're not going to have that, so we'll try to do it at the next one. That's about all I've got. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them the best I can.
I read to it like the fixed costs on the cable, TV, and internet look like that, I guess before it's always assumed everybody had internet, got cable TV, so they were paying the fixed costs in there. And it's an incorrect assumption with today, so just trying to move those costs so it'll be shared by the internet.
Try to share it. That's
so they're
right.
really at the bargain if they're not getting cable because they're not paying their share of the fixed costs.
That's exactly right. And I'm glad you said that, John, because I was not doing as good of a job of explaining it.
No,
But that is exactly right. Is trying to shift some of the fixed costs over to the to shore up the other. So.
Yeah, because in the previous year, before they combined those departments, all the major costs or expense was on the cable side, and all the profits money was on the internet side. But with the combination of putting them together.
And that's what this ordinance would be about, would be to the rate change would more involve doing just that, try to more heavily weigh the internet side from the cable side. And it would help our cable customers, by actually dropping their bill a little bit because they're not paying as much as that fixed cost. So, but it's encouraging them to have both internet and cable.
Offset some of the competition.
Offset some of the competition. Well, video on demand is going to help us quite a bit, I feel also, to be competitive against the internet streaming and everything else that's out there, the Netflixes, that kind of thing. So that'll help us be competitive also.
And what do you call it, fixed cost? What falls under fixed cost?
Infrastructure costs and maintenance costs, equipment upgrades, software upgrades.
Line installation, I guess.
Yes, and installation costs.
Over City Hall.
Right, installation costs, new customers, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a telephone, your biggest expense is fixed
Is your fixed assets.
Yeah, we do have, I think they talked about the telephone line expense, that would probably be a variable cost.
That would be, and we would have a breakdown, I'm sure, Mary, on those costs, the telephone costs and charges by AT&T and that kind of thing. We can get you a breakdown on that also, if you require.
Still a good value for most.
I believe so.
Any other questions? Thank you, Councilman Dolan. Pretty thorough first meeting. Okay. Under unfinished business, under new business, we have a new appointment to the HRB board or new recommendation for appointment to the HRB board. That's Dr. Josh Blackman. He's a dentist here in town. I was going to talk a little bit about him, but Joe was kind enough to pull up a little bio on him. He's a 2006 graduate, University of Kentucky College of Dentistry. Following dental school, he serves as Captain of the United States Army for 4 years, providing care to soldiers deployed overseas and returning home. He then completed a general practice residency at the University of Kentucky and VA Hospital in Lexington. And he's here with his wife, the former Lindsay Block, and they have 2 daughters, Lydia and Charlotte. And I'm proud to call Bardstown their home. Dr. Blackman, he lives in the historical district. He lives on East Flagey, and he's familiar with the HRB process. He remodeled a home there and actually followed all the rules and all the regs and did all things. But he showed a willingness to want to be a part of the board, and anytime you got a community volunteer that wants to be a part of something like that, and it's qualified and takes a highly interest in it, I think it's good that we have someone like Dr. Blackman.
I think the board meets all the qualifications. I think that, they have levels of expertise and that type of thing that they require to be on the board. And they meet all that with him coming on board.
Yes. Anyone else have any questions? No. He may be, some of y'all may be his patients, I don't know. Okay. But anyway, if no one has any problem with it, then I'd like to entertain a motion to recommend Dr. Blackman as a new appointee of the HRB board.
So,
Motion by Councilman Butler,
Second.
second by Councilman Copeland. No further discussion. All in favor? All opposed? Like sign. Okay, also under new business, we have a mobile food vendors application here. We just read the new mobile food vendor ordinance, and we have an application here for mustard seed. This didn't pull up on your tablets. I
Yeah, the
think.
hyperlink is having a problem, but I have a copy of the application if you'd like to review it, if you haven't already. And as far
Are
as...
you Miss Desiree Taylor?
Yes, I am.
Okay, this is Desiree Taylor, who's the owner of the mustard seed mobile vending unit. As you know, it's colored mustard color. So. But we have our application here, and she has all the necessary requirements that need to be done to approve a special permit. Hours of operation, license from the state health department, liability insurance coverage, and she's even got pictures of everybody who'll be working with her. So, I don't know if that was actually a requirement, but she's got it.
It does say it is a requirement.
Okay. Questions?
Yes. Can she tell us about mustard seed?
She more certainly can. If she'd like to brag on her new business, go ahead.
Well, it's a brand new adventure for me. I've been in the restaurant industry for several years until I came to Bardstown about 2.5 years ago. And I found it online cheap, so I bought it. I completely stripped it and redone it, painted it, sanded it, everything possible has been done to it. I would like to set up in town to offer lunches. I was interested in the new, opening up to industry area. I've been down home cook for years. I love, comfort foods per se. So I'm gonna offer a different variety of things. And changing with season. I mean, do you really want a big heavy plate lunch at lunchtime and during the summer? Not typically. And then as it gets cooler, I'll offer different menu items, soups and stews and plate lunches and stuff like that.
So will you be rotating locations or you'll be in the same?
No, I have to rotate every 14 days.
Okay, all right.
Right. So I'm gonna start out with Busick's here in town, Busick Lumber. My husband's employed there and Susan Elmore's all for it. And then I'm just gonna get more places to go as I work through it. I know Bardstown Electronics said I could come over there. So I've got a few places I could go. I'm just waiting to see what happens with, the industrial part of it, to where I could go with that, out to factories and things. It'll be interesting.
Food.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Her permit application fits all the terms and conditions that we set forth in the ordinance, so she doesn't have a problem with that. It's all here. So, if anyone else have any questions of Desiree? Well, if no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve her mobile food vendor application for mustard seed.
Make a motion to approve the mobile food application for Mustard Seed since it meets all the criteria.
Okay, been motioned by Councilman Kelly to approve the mobile food vendor application. Can we get a second?
I'd like to second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Dones. No further discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. And good luck.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I know, I'm excited. New adventure for us.
Okay, any council members' comments?
Yes.
Councilwoman Copeland?
I received an email from Lisa Thompson. She's with the National Trust for Historic Preservation in Washington, D.C. And she wanted to say thanks again to the city of Bardstown for signing on to the historic tax credit letter. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how this tax credit was used. The old Talbot Tavern had a $1 million project, the hotel, is that correct?
Actually, right now, we submitted our application, but we probably won't end up getting that.
Which they have you on the list.
Yeah, they haven't approved it. 'Cause
Okay, well, I guess
they
it's
don't
coming.
quite like the way we redid it.
Well, I don't know, this is the list that,
Yeah, we are on the list. We
Okay,
should be on the
okay,
list, 'cause
all
we did do all the paperwork, but
Okay,
I don't
well.
think we're gonna finally get it.
oh, all right. Well, Mason's Hall, which is on 3rd Street, it was a commercial project, $150,000. May Odd House on Broadway, $177,000 project, multi-use. And the Harold Atkinson House, which is a $172,000 housing project. So she just wanted to say thank you for that. And also, there are still some groups that can sign on, which are Main Street, the Chamber, and Tourism. So I will give them a shout out and let them know that they can also be participants in this. So that's the only announcement that I had. Thank you.
Can I have a vote?
It's an excellent program, no question about it. You have to jump through the hoops sometimes, John, but I've used it several times, and it is a very nice program if you want to.
We use it for the
About
tavern
other-
after the fire.
Did you? Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what she meant.
No, she meant the
Well,
tavern.
did she?
We did the
Okay.
application, but we just
Well, it
at
had
that point,
2002
basically
on
got to
it.
cover our brick walls inside it.
Okay.
It's good that you're bringing it out, because a lot of people, they forget about it, or they don't realize it. And timing on that is very important, because you can't really start a new project until you've done your legwork on this kind of project.
It's an involved process to do the application, but it's not impossible, and it's not, it just takes some time, and the time, I mean, the credit is worth the time, because there's both a federal credit and a state credit you can be eligible for. You do have to follow the criteria, and it's better that you know what the criteria is at the beginning of your project.
Yeah, you really need to do that.
And we knew some of the issues we had, so.
Thank you, Councilwoman Copeland. Any other comments, Councilman? Okay. Well, we have 2 cemetery deeds, one for William Carlton Allen, one grave site, and another one for Lois and Joseph Clayton. Do we just normally approve those with acclamation or whatever?
No objection.
No objection, we'll approve them both by acclamation. Okay, is there any other business to be discussed on the council tonight? None, being no other business, entertain a motion to adjourn. By acclamation.
So moved. We'll make sure. So moved.
So moved by Councilman Kelly.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Lutton. All in favor, say aye. Thank you all.
I'm gonna be the one to do all the motions.
Thank our lead. Did all right, Mary. Thank you.
She did great.